The Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. With your hosts, Joe Bond.
You're awful.
And AJ Applegarth.
It's Sin Shu Chu. It's a mouthful.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, as usual, co-host, Mr. AJ Applegarth. What is up, man?
Not much. Got a nice clean shave today.
Yeah,
Accentuate the mustache a little bit.
The stash, yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's the month of May, man. They both start with M's, and Movember is still a ways out, so rocking it now.
Sure. So interesting news today. Was not expecting to see this. Mr. Albert Pujols was waived by the Angels. Like what? Something about he wasn't enjoying the playing time. Jared Walsh is pretty much taken over there. It seems like not even playing a whole lot of DH. He's not hitting well anymore. He's not even close to the same player, but he has to be traded or released, and they gave him what he wanted. So I guess his hope is that he can sign with a contender and just do whatever at this point. I don't think he's going to be, obviously he's not fantasy relevant at all, but I guess he's just hoping he can be on a team that wins, because the Angels really aren't still, even though they're better. They keep trying to spend money, and it's just not happening. So Anthony Rendon is injured again. So I don't know. It's just kind of shocking news to see, like, big name, a guy that was huge back in the day, man, like MVP level.
Yeah. I don't want to say it's a shame to see it, but I kind of feel like we're somehow watching Old Yeller in baseball form, and he's just getting what he wants, and he's earned the right to be able to ask for the release, and want to go to a contender and win. I don't blame him for that, obviously, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Angels were trying to put some pieces together. I mean, they still have Mike Trout, so obviously you can't just build one around him only, and Rendon, but he's injured now, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I need to check in with a buddy of mine who's a massive Cardinals fan. So I know he's got plenty of love for Winnie the Pujols. And get his take on it.
And Jeff over there, flashing the Cards gear, as we speak. So
yeah,
it's definitely interesting. It's one of those, like, you almost feel like like quarterbacks, right, stick around too long in the NFL. It's almost like one of those, like, Albert, you might just need to hang it up, dude.
Yeah,
you can go.
It's time.
Go mash some adult softball leagues, man. Do something.
Yeah,
all right,
join yourself a nice beer league and dominate. Right. Okay.
All right. Before we continue, want to remind everybody to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Periscope, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen or watch. We appreciate the support. And speaking of that, it sounds like you need it more than me, man. Let's do some beer week.
Beer.
So,
yes.
What you got, man?
I don't know if I've had this on the show, or I'm sure I have at some point, but it's a Clown Shoes Haze Cake Hazy Double India Pale Ale. It's a 9%er. It's about where my night's going. So, cheers.
I got your beat, man. This is a
me. Yeah,
Commonwealth Brewing.
I
wrote other half. I'm an idiot. Sorry about that, Jeff.
Jackass.
Yes, I am. It's Commonwealth Brewing Company. called Cosmic Egg. It's got Sabro, Mosaic, Citra. It's a triple IPA. I actually had this on the NFL draft show, but it wasn't the Fantasy Six-Pack Hour, so it doesn't count. I can do it twice. So
Sure.
yeah, I drank it when Chris Allen was on. So I figured
okay.
I'd save it. I figured I'd save a really good one for him. I believe I gave this one a 4.5 on Untapped. It's super good, man.
Nice.
It's some triples really hit hard. This one you don't taste the extra alcohol, which is 10%, by the way. So yeah, I do have you beat. But cheers, and here's to a good show.
Yeah, so let me break out my tape measure because we're clearly having a pissing contest here.
Yes, we are.
Sort
All
of.
right.
Not really.
Our guest is having some technical difficulties, so we're gonna have to wait on that.
All right.
Hopefully he is back soon. Maybe joining via phone at this point. So yeah, we'll get him on here soon. But let's jump into our first topic, and which is John Means throws a no, man, which actually almost should have been a perfect game, man.
Yes.
I don't know, if, the pitch on the next to final batter past the catcher and advanced on strike 3 or whatever. So it is what it is. He got actually thrown out at second. So
yeah, it's I don't know. I saw the replay of it, and I mean, come on, it sucks.
It's kind of a dumb rule. I've never really understood that. You swung and you missed. Why is that? Why are you able to advance? I've never really understood that rule. And when it affects a perfect game, it's so much worse.
Yeah, I mean that's just the ultimate.
So brutal, man.
He
celebrated the hell out of the no hitter, but he's sitting there going, "You got to be kidding me! I almost had a perfect game."
Well, yeah, and I mean they're calling it a wild pitch. I feel like it was the catcher. It was more on the catcher than the pitch, but I don't know. Maybe the view I had in the replay kind of sucked, so maybe it was more on him too. But either way, this was quite possibly the most impressive of the no-nos that we've seen this year.
12 Ks, man. He was dominant.
I'm just gonna rattle off for a Dick Bixby-esque rant here to talk about this because this was my topic. And it's a good rant. It's not an I'm angry at everything sort of a rant.
But it's you ranting, so I'm just taking my beer out and let's hang out.
Yeah, get the beer. So this year we've obviously seen to me an uptick in the no-hitters, and it started off on April 9th with hometown hero Joe Musgrove pitching a no-hitter, the first no-hitter in San Diego's history, at Texas, 10 Ks, missed the perfect game by having hit by pitch. Carlos Rodon then came up on the 14th and did his damage against Cleveland at home, 7 Ks and a hit by pitch, again being the ultimate defining moment of imperfection, I guess we'll call it. Then you have Mad Bum, who technically threw a no-hitter, albeit it will not count as one because it was game 2 of a doubleheader at Atlanta, Sunday, the 25th of April. He went the 7 innings. He faced 21 batters, the minimum, had 7 Ks as well. And his perfection-ish was caused because of an error. But the error turned out to be a double play on the next batter, hence still only facing the minimum. But because of the rule, I think it was 1991 or so, they set it up that you have to go 9+ innings and not have any hits or I think it was no hits, no runs, I guess, to have the no hitter. So it was just incredible, though. I mean, the other fine moment on that is that in game 1, his teammate threw a one hitter. So through 14 innings,
they one hit.
him and Zach Gallen tossed a one hitter. I mean, against a strong, contendable team.
Yeah.
So and in Atlanta, I thought it was pretty solid. I think it sucks that he won't get the actual no hitter, or whatnot. But the two of them, Bumgarner and Gallen, this is from the recap on ESPN. They're both officially credited with the shutouts. So it makes Arizona the first team to throw a pair of complete game shutouts in a doubleheader since Boston's Reggie Cleveland and Don Ayesi at Toronto back on September 5th of 77, right where this mustache comes from. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And then again, we have Means, 12 Ks, and the wild pitch did him in. The very interesting thing I saw here, though, was 26 out of 27 first pitch strikes for the batters per batters faced. So 26 first pitch strikes faced 27 batters. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. I mean, you're on when you're doing that. So kudos to all these guys.
Yeah. No, I'm not entirely sure what game score is. This is actually the first I've heard of it, but Jeff is texting us here on the side and saying that Means had a 99 game score. I don't know if 100 is the highest, but 99 sounds pretty damn good to me. It is the best in team history for the Orioles, so it's got to be pretty good because they've had some pretty monster pitchers. So highest ever is 116, he says. So yeah, that's pretty good, man. Yeah, he was dominant that game. And again, you're saying it's the fourth, officially the third no hitter this year. We've had a lot so far. I mean, I looked it up because I was kind of wondering like how many were thrown ever in a season. There was 8 thrown in 1884, so that doesn't count. And then in the modern era, there's been 7 thrown 4 times: 1990, 1991, 2012, and 2015. So pretty recent, actually. We've had 7 total this year, which is a lot. Yeah. But we've already had 3. Maybe we'll say 3.5. I mean, how much? Look, it's impossible to predict, but let's just have some fun with it. Like, how many can we actually expect here? We've had we've had like 1 a week.
3. Yeah, we're barely into the second month of the season here. So I don't know if we'll maintain this pace, but
probably not. But yeah,
I'm gonna go with an over under of 9. Why not?
I was gonna have some fun with it and say like 11, but. So maybe I'm going over.
Taking the over.
No, I guess I'm going over. I was just gonna have some fun with it. Though.
I mean, I think it could be double digits. Honestly, I really do. And I don't know. The pitchers have just been on this year. I mean,
I don't even know if it's really that. Like, there's this. There's a new mentality with hitting, and this was something I was going to bring up. And the question, and why I was going to bring this up is the question is, why are we getting these no hitters at the rate we're getting, right? Is it pitching is getting better or hitting getting worse, or is it just a change in philosophy? And I really do think it's a change in philosophy. It's batting average doesn't matter anymore, right? Batting average has now dropped again, and it's dropped drastically again. It's right now at like 230 something overall for all of MLB. It was at 240 something last year, which was dreadful. So 230. We are seeing star fantasy players batting at or below 200. I mean, it's bad. Paul Goldschmidt is going down there, man. It's
Sucks.
terrible. But because these guys are, when they hit, they're hitting it hard. So they're hitting home runs. They're getting RBI, that kind of thing. They're still fantasy relevant because they're getting you all those counting stats.
Yeah.
And nobody's batting average is good. So it doesn't matter. You get 3 or 4 good batting average guys on your team. You're probably fine.
Yeah.
K rate's increasing, dramatically. So that's helping pitching as well. This is an all or nothing type of a league now with hitting. And it's just helping these pitchers become, look, John Means, I guess, I know he was good last year toward the end of the season, but no way in hell did I ever think he would throw a no-hitter. I never thought Carlos Rodon would throw a no-hitter. Mad Bum.
Phil Humber.
Mad Bum at his crappy years that he's had recently.
Yeah.
Come on. He's throwing no-hitters now. Like it's just bizarre. We're seeing, and unless something changes where we see guys going more in, trying to just get hits, get on base, then I don't think I think no hitters are going to become way more regular than they have ever been. They'll still be rare, but we're going to see a lot more of them. For now until this philosophy changes. So, all right, we do have our guest back, Mr. Trent Dickerson, writer for Jeff. You do it. Trent Dickerson, writer for Fantasy Six Pack. He does our hitting planner every week. What is up, man? I can tell you're on your phone.
Yeah, we had to adjust.
It's
we
all
drove down the road to get better signal too. So don't hate.
Oh
me.
man,
Podcast. This is how committed I am, Joe.
Wow,
Nice.
man. I appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
So definitely got to ask you, man. You are a little bit of a shit starter on Twitter. You got some hot takes that definitely blew up. You bashed.
I don't know if they're a hot take. They're the correct take.
Oh, you bashed guac, man. You don't like guac?
Guacamole's never necessary, and I will fight this. So I'll die on that hill. That guacamole's never necessary. You say I've just never had good guacamole. That's impossible because there's no such thing as good guacamole. So
AJ, back me up here, man. You're a guac fan, right?
I have a stone bowl that I make my own guac in because my wife is awesome and bought me one.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I love guac, and I do not agree with this take. But hey, that's your opinion. That's cool. But you're wrong.
Yeah, right. Exactly, you're wrong.
2 against 1, clearly.
and so
What's that?
I said one of them's like my boss. So I guess I gotta just back off on this.
Oh, don't call me that. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say this though. You talked about bad batting averages. You know who's got a great batting average? Ronald Acuna Jr. You were hating on him earlier, so
no, I wasn't hating on him. I own him in our keeper league, our Fantasy Six Pack keeper league. Hell no, dude. I drafted him in the 4th round or the 5th round the year he came up, and because we get to keep a player for 4 years or 3 years or whatever it is, and he goes up around every year. So I was like, I'm gonna get the best player in baseball for the next 3 years at a discount.
Yeah. So
it worked.
You got the best player in baseball. That means you got Huascar Ynoa, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go there, man. You this dude is amazing. This pitcher obviously made a name after the first couple of starts, just lights out pitching, and then and now he's hitting bombs, man. Did he hit a grand slam the other day?
Yeah, he hit the back wall in center field at Nationals Park. He pimped it and everything. It was amazing.
We're seeing launch angle, those I forget what site does it, but is it MLB? It might be MLB. They put the pictures in the launch angle thing. You see it all over Twitter all the time with these monster home runs. They did one for Ynoa. I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. AJ, you were talking about getting pitchers out there for the home run derby. He's got to go. This guy has to do it.
Him. I think he send Mad Bomb.
Ohtani and Yanoa. Who wins?
Yeah, I mean, Ohtani's
probably
kind of a.
Hey, it's gonna be really fun watching Huascar Yanoa and Shohei Ohtani go to the finals of the home run derby and then start the All-Star game the next night. That's gonna be incredible. So
it's in Colorado. We were saying how the All-Star game's in Colorado this year, so it's gonna be like monster home run derby too. It's gonna be so fun to watch.
They moved it from Atlanta to Colorado.
Yeah, it's just utterly ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Remember
Does
those
Colorado
records?
just have one? I feel like they.
I don't think so. Remember how we just had like records with the home run derby a few years ago? I forget who said it. Oh damn, who said it?
Hamilton, right?
Hamilton said it.
Hamilton said it a while ago.
But then wasn't Todd the Bod, was it?
I think he was part of it. I'm trying to think. Was it Gallo?
Fielder?
Was Gallo doing it?
No.
I think Hamilton said it though before they went to the time. That was back when you still had 10 outs.
Yeah. I'll figure this out. But derby record.
Oh, well, was it Harper? I mean, Alonso was
Vlad and Stanton and Cespedes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Current overall record is held by Vlad Guerrero at a mark of 91 total. Wow.
Oh my God.
And then he couldn't swing a bat the second half that season. Remember that? Yeah. Don't do that, guys. It's not good.
This is how you crush your career. Become a first half player.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into our next topic here. And apologize, you missed the no section, but we got to keep moving here. So we're gonna get into minor league season started this week finally. So usually we're seeing guys. We have already seen guys get called up, but they hadn't had any minor league games. They just got called up because of injuries or whatnot. But now that the season has started, we're gonna get some guys, some games, some seasoning, and things like that. Who are some players that you are looking at who could get a call up relatively soon, a month or so, maybe two, that can make an impact for fantasy? I think everybody obviously is looking at Jared Kelenic. That's number one. They've already said he's coming out, coming up within a month. So, I mean, obviously he's a big name, so maybe we can just pass on him because he's the obvious one. But everybody else, well, who else do you have?
Yeah, you mentioned Kelenic. I actually put him in the hitting planner last week because I think it's getting close, and I think if you have room to put him on your roster, if you have just a bench spot that you can hold him in your redraft leagues, I mean, yeah, we can talk about hey, you need to pick up Brandon Bell because he got hot, or someone else, some random veteran that's gotten hot that week, but Jared Kelenic, he has a shot to actually maybe win you a league if he plays like we think he can. So I think if you got a roster spot, you should pick him up. But if moving in, I'll start with a guy who actually debuted this past week. That's Daniel Lynch for the Royals. You got a pitching spot. I think he's got a shot to be a real good arm. Maybe get some good strikeouts, good ratios as well. And I mean, the Royals have a decent team, so maybe he can get those, get some wins too.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Vidal Brazian. I'm actually seeing a tweet just now. He just crushed another home run today. Second home run in as many games so far to start the season. What's your thoughts about him getting a call up relatively soon and making an impact?
I mean, from what you read, everybody knows in the Rays system who's lurking there. That's Wander Franco. But Vidal Brazian is right there with him in terms of getting ready to get called up. Not the same skill level. Maybe not as he's not as known as big of a power from what all the research I've done on him, but he's got crazy good speed, and maybe he's found a power stroke. Maybe he's added some muscle and he's starting to hit for a little more power. But this is a guy that he's probably going to hit for a good average. He's going to steal some bases if he gets on, and he's in a decent Rays lineup, especially once some of these other guys start getting up there. But I mean, you have Randy Arozarena, Austin Meadows, and I mean, Manuel Margot's playing well this year. And the Rays, while they do some unique things with their players, they seem to know how to put their players in the best position to succeed. And I really think Brazian is like close. And, similar situation to Kelenic. If you have a roster spot, he might be worth, keeping an eye on, keeping tabs on the news of when he could come up, because that's a guy that can get you steals. And as we know, steals sometimes can be a pretty big deal in fantasy baseball. It's not many going around.
Yeah, he's only got a 40 power hit grade. His hit tool is 60, which is, pretty top notch. The run, the speed is 70. So obviously, you mentioned the speed there. So yeah, he could be a guy that could come up and, if he can just get on base, he's gonna boost some steal totals. And yeah, who knows? Maybe he's gonna find a little power stroke. That wouldn't be the first time we've seen stuff like that happen. So who else you got? Or AJ, you got something to say?
I was just gonna say, is there anybody that you thought would have already been called up by now?
Well, as a Braves fan, a lot of people are wondering where Drew Waters is. So there's a lot of people saying, where's Waters? Where's Waters? Even when they hadn't signed Ozuna this offseason, there was like, because Waters is coming up. So, as a Braves fan living in Braves country, Drew Waters is a pretty popular pick there, but I think he still needs some time in the minor leagues. I think the COVID-shortened season, where there was no minor leagues, kind of hurt him. I think if maybe there's a full year last year of minor leagues, maybe he's up. Even going back to Kelenic there, I think Kelenic's, maybe he's caught up into last year sometime if, there's no short or no minor league season. If there is a minor league season, I guess to say. You can go along the list. Maybe even CJ Abrams there in San Diego. From what you're seeing, he's got a lot of potential, hitting the ball well, according to the reports on the alternate side. And now, of course, minor league season. The only problem with him, though, is where he might play in San Diego. There was, thoughts when Tatis got hurt that maybe, that opens a spot for him on the roster. But he can maybe slide over to second. Maybe he plays center field, left field, somewhere in the outfield long term. But that's another guy that's going to have a good, maybe power speed combo for you there. And then the last guy would probably be Jeter Downs there in Boston, because that's another guy probably got to slide to second base because of Sander Bogarts, but just kind of wondering when he's going to get the call up. And, it's kind of hard to predict some of these guys because, like you said a few times, that there was no minor league season last year. So all we're going off is reports from the alternate side from the team officials of what they're saying. They took big steps last year. Maybe they forced their hands into the major league lineup spot. And so, there's a few guys to keep an eye on there.
Yeah, we saw a lot of these guys get spring training invites, even though we knew that they weren't getting a chance, but the team needed to see something from them for the first time in over a year. So a couple of guys that interest me, and I want to get your opinion on them, is Nolan Jones. He was a huge name in St. Louis there for a while until obviously they signed Arenado. What's your
you said
not Nolan Jones. Gorman, right? Who am I thinking of? Nolan Gorman. Yeah, sorry. Said Nolan. I read your list and the guy said Nolan and stopped, but I meant to say Nolan Gorman. You're right. Yeah, so, my
Nolan
apologies
Jones
for that.
Nolan Jones is a good prospect too to talk about there in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Gorman is interesting because, like you said, they traded for Arenado, and when you trade for Arenado, that's gonna block third base for a while. And Gorman's
absolutely.
But but those reports come out that he might slide over to second base, kind of like how the Reds kind of shifted their infield around, put Suarez at short,
Moose and everybody else,
put Jonathan India over at second. He was a third baseman in the minors. And now they're talking about Gorman doing the same thing, maybe switching over to second base. And personally, to me, if you play fantasy baseball, kind of how thin second base could be. There's some tiers there that kind of drop off after a while.
There's like four players, and then you don't want anybody else.
Slides over to second base, and this, he might. Yeah. But if he slides over the second base and he can kind of keep up the potential he's shown in the minor leagues, that makes him a lot more intriguing to me. Maybe not just from a fantasy aspect, if he can slide over to the second and do what he's projected to do at third, that honestly makes him more valuable right now because.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I loved his profile, coming out of college, and then he just flashed the power immediately in the minors, and I think it's going to continue. Another guy, and this is for personal reasons, I got him on my in my dynasty league, sitting there in my minor league spots is Travis Swaggerty, and I may have drafted him because he's got the coolest name ever.
Oh yeah,
but,
80 great name.
Yeah, I know, right? My team name is immediately going to have something with swag in it. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on him going forward?
He's interesting because I don't know if he has the ceiling that some of the other guys we've mentioned. From reports you read, just seeing stuff. But he's shown so far, or in his past, he's got decent OBP numbers. Decent contact rate, it seems like. And the big thing here is he might get an opportunity pretty quick because he's in Pittsburgh. And, I mean, what reason does Pittsburgh not have to play him? Because, I mean, like we talked about with Gorman, St. Louis is trying to be competitive. If they don't think he's ready, they're not going to – there's no reason to rush him because you're competitive. But Pittsburgh is like, let's go see what this kid's got in the outfield. I mean, who's really going to block him now? The ghost of Gregory Polanco. I mean,
who's already hurt.
Yeah, I mean, is he blocking anybody at any time now? So,
no.
Yeah, more doctors from getting into his house.
Yeah. So I mean, Swaggerty might have an opportunity there if he can have a strong month or so in the minor leagues. That hey, why not call him up? We figure the Pirates are going to be bad, even if he's not good right away. That's okay. Let him learn on the job, kind of like they're doing with Ke'Bryan Hayes there at third base. Maybe you find an outfielder. You're not trying to be good this year necessarily. We could have told you that by looking at their salary, salary situation there, where they're not paying people minimum wage to play baseball. So, I really like that Swaggerty kid, and I'm in a few dynasty leagues. I know I write more on the redraft side right now. But I'm trying to find a way to get Swaggerty at least in one of my leagues because I kind of do like maybe the idea that he's going to have opportunities to play.
Yeah, so like I have him, and it's a points league, and points leagues are usually pretty power heavy, power hitter, favorable. But we adjusted things a little bit to where like some of these, on base percentage guys, these high average guys who maybe don't hit, 30 home runs every year are still valuable. And so Swaggerty was like an immediate guy that, once he fell to me, I've always had the back end of the rookie drafts for that league. He fell to me and I was just like, oh, thanks, guys. It's an immediate grab for me. It took me about 20 seconds to make that pick. So,
yeah.
AJ, you gotta go. I got one last question for you regarding these. But AJ, you got anything else?
I mean, I have to highlight pretty much, the fan and tie-in of the show, Mr. Seth Beer.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I like it, man.
What
he could be a good.
What do you like about Beer? What don't you like? Is he refreshing on a summer's eve? Is he someone you just need to go out and?
Is it a session IPA?
I'm just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'll get myself in trouble here.
Yeah, if Arizona were to fall off a cliff, here this year, and you wanted to start selling some players, maybe you give him a shot just for the marketing reasons of a guy with the name of Beer. So, if maybe you got something there. If he hits like a home run or he hits like 2 home runs, you get like some kind of beer promotion there. I mean, it just writes itself, like you're saying. So you go from Swaggerty to Beer. There's 2, pretty great names for baseball. The only thing concerning to me is, he was involved in the Zach Greinke trade a few years ago. And he was thought of a little more highly now. And it seems like people are kind of moving away from him. You don't hear as much about him anymore, at least not in my opinion. And I don't know if that's reports from the alternate side as much, or maybe it's just maybe it's prospect fatigue in a way. You never really know with some of these guys. He's an interesting prospect. You might honestly be in your dynasty leagues, go get him at a pretty decent price if you like the skill set, and of course if you like the name.
Yeah, I can easily see him being on a poster or billboard or whatever, one of those like holding the bat low, and then it's like, come check out all of our beers at Chase Field, and it's like Budweiser and whatever, Corona, and then the bat, and then it's like other beers. I don't know. I'm just into beer. That's
wrong with that, man.
About all I can go with right now.
All right, Trent, my last question for you is, we've hit on a lot of hitters here, and you sprinkled in a pitcher or two. You got any more pitchers that people should be looking at, as guys to be picking up here soon, or, as soon as we get the news that they're getting called up, go grab these guys immediately?
Like I said, Daniel Lynch is pretty good. Logan Gilbert's a pretty good name. They're in Seattle.
Yeah.
Close from what you read about him. AAA, I believe, to start the year. Pretty high upside, depending on who you ask. The Seattle's got a pretty good farm system in general, especially pitching wise. You have him, and you have Kirby and Hancock there. All three of those guys projected pretty well, and it's depending on who you listen to or who you talk to about which way they get ranked. But it looks like he's the closest to making the major leagues and could make it within the next month or so, maybe. The key to all this is passing that service time date, which, we've already started. We passed about a week or so ago, but teams are, still going to use it to say, oh, they need to work on certain things like whatever, maybe just to help buy that extra year of service time. But I think he's got a good shot to be up pretty soon. And then another name to give a second answer might be Matt Manning for the Tigers.
Yeah, he's the guy I was hoping you would say.
Pretty high upside. Crazy good. From what you see about him, everything I've read on him says maybe one of the best breaking balls already once he gets up in the major leagues. The Tigers have no reason to compete this year, so might as well, if you feel like giving him a shot to see what he can do at the major league level. That's kind of hard to say sometimes because with pitchers, they may not want to rush them if you're not going to have a good year. And then, of course, you see kind of what the Tigers have done with Mize and Skubal, and you might get kind of worried they don't have the best track record recently of developing pitchers or calling them up the right time and helping them succeed. But Manning has a very high upside that I think he's pretty much as close to major league ready as he's going to get. Maybe he could use a few more refinements here or there. It's just really going to be on if the Tigers are ready to call him up and start that service time clock. So,
yeah, that's something you always got to worry about. Like you mentioned, you mentioned Swaggerty with the Pirates, and like, what do they have to lose? It's like, well, it's that stupid service time clock that they got to lose. It's like these guys, that's what they do. Yeah. So, it sucks. I hate it. I really hope that in the next bargaining agreement or whatever, they figure out a way to fix that, because it's such trash. These guys, like, when they're ready, they need to get called up. Kalenic 100% should have started the year with Seattle.
Yeah.
No way. And they even came out and said, basically, no, we're not doing it because of the service time rule. And like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it just sucks. I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, man. Anybody else you want to talk about, or should we move on to some injury news?
Yeah, like the Braves. The Braves did it. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
I'll mention one more. I'll give a homer name. He's not going to be ready this year, but it's a dynasty pick.
Sure.
He's a dynasty kind of pick. Michael Harris for the Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
If he's available somehow in your roster. In a couple dynasty leagues that I was in, he was actually on waivers. If he's still somehow not on your prospect list, Michael Harris is a great name to go pick up. I think he's going to be the next big prospect for the Braves. And I think about 6 months from now, man, his value, he's going to rise up prospect rankings, in my opinion. and this is going to be the last time you can get him pretty cheap, unless you're coming out of Braves fan. Like, I'm not going to give him to you pretty cheap the next couple of years.
Duly noted. We don't have the type of roster to hold a ton of minor league guys in my dynasty league. Only guys that we drafted in the first year player draft. I can't pick up anybody and throw them in there if they're minor league eligible, unfortunately. So it's hard to do it, but I will definitely keep them on my radar. So good to know. All right, let's jump into some injuries. Trent, we just kind of rip through these. We'll stop on a few, get your opinion on them. But there's a lot, so we try to get through it fast. I'll start with Louise Robert. No, I switched the names here. AJ, sorry. I forgot that it swapped all the names on me earlier. This thing got all screwed up.
Fucking guy.
I know.
Yes, as you said, Louise Robert is out now 12 to 16 weeks with a grade 3 hip flexor. That is painful on multiple levels for him and for his fantasy owners.
So much for the White Sox winning the division, man. They lost Eloy and Louise Robert, basically. That's brutal. Next here is Dustin May, out for the year. Tommy John was having a monster start to the season, really picked up his strikeout rate. It's unfortunate, man. Trent, what's your thoughts on Dustin May? Like, he'll be what? He'll be back middle of the season next year at best. I mean, like, I don't even know what to think with him.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because everything you wanted from Dustin May wanted him to take that next step on, it looked like he was taking that next step.
Yeah.
Like his
100%.
strikeout, that fantasy, maybe like a fantasy stud that a lot of people thought he could be. And like his strikeout rate jumped up a lot. I don't know if he could have kept up that rate, but it's just really unfortunate to see him take this step and then just end up, on the shelf for, like you said, maybe until midway of next year.
Yeah. So next guy we got here, we've already hinted at this a little bit earlier with the Pujols talk, and that's Anthony Rendon. He's on the IL with a knee injury. So hopefully you have someone else in mind or on your roster that has the eligibility that you can slide in there for Rendon.
Yeah, then next up, Jacob Degrom didn't hit the IL, but missed his start on Tuesday due to a lat injury. He's already throwing. It sounds like he's going to be good to go for this weekend, but it's not totally confirmed yet. It just sucks. Those of you locked him in you're locking him in regardless in a weekly league, no matter how many starts he gets. But you were getting a 2-start week out of Degrom, and now you're not going to get it. So that blows because he is a monster. So
yeah, definitely painful. George Springer, welcome back. Oh wait, to the IL. That is, he is back on the IL.
4 games, I think is what it was.
Who cares? Not enough. Small sample size, as they say.
He has 2 home runs.
Small sample size, as they say. Back on the IL with a quad strain, and yeah, that was fun while it lasted. So,
Trent, I want to ask you, like, what do we do with a guy like George Springer? Like, you can't trade the guy. Who trusts him to stay healthy at this point? Like, if you don't have an IL spot you can throw him in, like, what do we do with Springer? Because they've already said he's going to be out longer than the 10 days.
I think you just kind of got to pray and hope it's not. Maybe it's like 15 days or 20 days. It ain't long because I'm in a situation where I have George Springer and Christian Yelich. So we haven't got to Yelich yet, but similar situation. Hey, welcome to my team finally after 3 weeks, and then put you right back on the bench of the IL. So
I'm gonna guess that team's not doing very well.
No,
no,
it's not. It's bad because there's a lot of injuries on that team too. That's like my team's just IL. That's all it is. Like I'm just already play it for next year. So
yikes.
Yeah. So with that, I'll just jump ahead real quick.
Yeah, sure, take it, man.
Christian Yelich. on the ILs as of Tuesday, thanks to a back injury. And I mean, this isn't the first back injury that we've seen that's completely crushed a Milwaukee Brewer. I would go back to Ryan Braun, stud for the Brewers for many, many years. And, the injuries just started creeping up, especially the back injuries. And it just crushed his career, I feel like. I mean, he's had a little bit of a resurgence when he finally got healthy again. But, I just hope that Yelich doesn't fall victim to the same thing. And back injuries are always finicky. So hopefully they play this one right and let him rest it and get fully healthy before throwing it back out there.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned it last week with the back injury, and he wasn't on the IL yet. But I was like, yeah, don't be surprised if it happens. So I'll take a couple here. You got Kevin Gausman, he's on the IL. It's due to COVID. I mean, they haven't officially said, but it's due to COVID, and they're thinking it might even just be like a close contact thing. So if he clears, he could be back really soon, but so far not yet. We'll. Jeff actually just told me it is a reaction from the vaccine. So yeah, he could be like a couple of days then. It could be, he felt sick. Is he already off?
I was gonna say, why is he even
he's
on the IL?
He's on the team I have, so it's pretty bad.
Oh, so it's your fault. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Hey Jay, go ahead.
Don't take my title.
Yeah, we get the voodoo doll
I'm
over here,
the
man.
voodoo doctor over here. We got Mr. Yaz Flute Chisholm is on the IL with a hammy injury. I mean, he was playing pretty well. He kind of started to fall off a little bit, but maybe this had something to do with it. I don't know. And then now he's finally just put on the shelf.
Yeah. Jeff just messaged to us.
He's back off the shelf.
Well, he resumed baseball activity. Well,
that
who
means
knows?
Not a lot. I mean, hopefully it'll be short-lived. But again, like the back injuries, hamstring injuries are not good,
linger.
especially for somebody who is looked at to run the bases and steal. So,
yep. All right, so I'll take a couple in a row here because we got the Yelich one sandwiched in here. Corbin Burns on the IL, no designation why. They I'll probably guess as to what it is.
Upper body injury.
I think. Yeah. Okay. Hockey. Anybody see the Capitals and the Rangers? Brutal, dude. And then we got Travis Arnold, 60-day IL with a torn ligament in his thumb. They called up William Contreras. Trent, Braves fan. Any of these catchers they got on their roster worth picking up in fantasy, or just don't worry about it?
I mean, catchers in fantasy are almost like just kind of pray half the time anyways. But William Contreras is definitely intriguing. He's known to be a decent hitter in the minor leagues. He's better than what Alex Jackson was providing for the Braves. Alex Jackson went like 1 for 80, I think, this year. So Contreras in his first 3 games has actually been pretty solid. He's had a few hits. He had his first career home run the other night. So he's looking good. I mean, he's got good genes. We know who his brother is. So potentially, he could be.
I was wondering about that. Are they related?
I mean, maybe not a stud. Yeah, that's his. Contreras that's the younger brother of Wilson there in Chicago. So we know what Wilson's been able to do. So maybe William can tap into that potential as well, that hit tool that his brother has.
Yeah, hopefully. Speaking of the Cubbies, former Cub returned to the Cubs, Mr. Jake Arrieta. on the 10-day with a thumb injury as well. He hopes to return soon. I'm guessing it's not as much of his thumb that was up his butt as Travis Darnaud, because he's got the torn ligament. So who knows?
And then another Cub guy that I was touting all offseason.
And I almost just picked up earlier this week. So.
And I did pick him up in a couple leagues. Nico Horner, IL with a forearm injury. He hopes to return in the minimum time. But, I mean, he was hitting well, even, in the short amount of time that he, had played. So I'm hoping for big things from this kid. I think he's got a lot of talent. So next up, AJ.
Yep. We got Alex Kiriloff is on the IL with a sprained wrist. Boo-hoo.
Yeah. They caught up. They brought Miguel Sano back off the IL just for him. Yikes. Brendan Nemo on the IL due to a finger injury. The Mets are not looking good right now on offense, so they don't need to be losing offensive talent, unfortunately. So this one stings. We got some good news mixed in here. Threw this one in.
Luke Voight is already playing in rehab games for AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Whoopity-doo!
No, I need first base health desperately in my Dynasty League, and he's on my IL, so come back.
Yes.
And then to finish things off, we got Diego Castillo on the IL. The Rays bullpen, man, committee. It sounds like Springs got the save today, so maybe he's the guy. We got Jeffrey, we got Ryan Thompson, we got Pete Fairbanks, who randomly came back from the IL that nobody knew he was coming back this early. Dropped his ass in a couple of leagues because thought he was out for a long time. That's kind of the way they were stating it. And then just like, boom. Has anybody else noticed that the IL activations this year are like a surprise? Like,
you're out 10 days. Oh, wait, what? It's been 6? Okay, cool. Whatever.
Well, I get like the COVID ones, right? Like those happen, right?
Yeah, but like that's understandable. But
like Ryu was on the IL and we knew he could come back, but like we didn't know when. And then he was activated today and started. Like he was activated like an hour before the start happened. I totally missed you sitting on the bench.
I think it's a ploy by Manfred to screw over fantasy football players who also play fantasy baseball.
This feels like a Belichick type move with like you just hate fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's
players.
just like, okay, you're off now. You've hit 10 days. Well, you're supposed to start. I don't like this matchup. We'll give you one more day and not say anything until warm-ups. Okay.
There was a league.
Or they're going to be like, hey, wait, ESPN starts their leagues and locks them at the first game.
Right?
It's at 1:00 today, so nobody can add you. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, not even that. So the worst thing is that I'm in a league where it's a dynasty league. So rosters are deep. So a lot of these guys on the IL are owned or in IL spots. And so the way we had the rule set up was that if you have a guy in your IL slot who is no longer IL eligible, you can't make roster changes that day. So we've had like surprise IL activations. Like say it's a Saturday, right? We got staggered games all day, right? That's what happens on Saturday. You've got some 1:00 games, you got some 4:00 games. You go in at like 11:30, set your lineup, and this has happened to me. I went at like 11:00, set my lineup. Guy's still in IL. I was able to change some stuff, went in. And then I come to find out that a couple of the guys that I put in my starting roster are no longer starting. It's like the 4:00 game. So I try to go in and change it. And somebody in my IL is no longer on the IL, so I can't change anybody. I'm locked because the dude played the 1:00 game and was like activated 30 minutes before the game. What the hell is happening? So we had to change it. We had to change the rule. You can go in on Fantrax and change the rule. We did it so that you had like a 1-day grace period. So you don't get screwed the day that they get activated.
I like in fan checks that you can still drop a guy, and I may have mentioned this show before, but you can drop a guy who's already started in a day to pick somebody else up, but they won't. If you did it to try to play somebody, that day, it's not going to happen. If that person's game already started, because I did that, and I don't know if you caught. I think it was in our matchup. I like blew 3 pickups immediately because I tried to pick somebody up and his game had already started or something. I was like, God damn it!
You can't pick up players who their game has already started.
Well, no, I know
you can, but you can't.
I didn't
put them in your lineup.
Well, yeah, and I didn't realize that the game had already started until afterwards. I was like, oh, God damn it! But I was still able to drop the same guy that I dropped to pick that player who started up and pick somebody else up. It was like the weirdest freaking thing. So I don't know if I found a new loophole, a black hole, I don't really give a fuck hole. But
so you're not paying attention hole.
I'm throwing everything I have into that whole sort of deal because it worked. So
I don't know if I want to talk about holes anymore. Let's move on.
The only other injury I wanted to mention is hometown for me, and annoying because he's on my team, is Bryce Harper has played like 1 inning in the past, I don't know, 19 days or something stupid like that. That's not even correct. It's like 2 or 3 games, but he's dealing with all kinds of stuff after getting beamed in the face.
That's like Juan Soto.
Yeah.
He got activated and to be pinch hitter so he could play DH this weekend. Like, what? Why didn't you wait till the weekend? That's the stupidest thing ever. Good job, Washington.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this up with some players that we think you should add. I got 4. If you guys got anybody else to add, feel free to chime in here. I'll start here with Colton Wong. Was activated off the IL, 11 games ago. He's batting .395 with 9 runs, 2 home runs, and 5 RBI, and a steal in that time. Like, I don't think the power's really going to keep with him. He's not that kind of player, but I think the steals are gonna pick up.
Yeah,
but I think he's very good. I think he's somebody that you should go out and grab. And again, Trent mentioned earlier, second base is a total shithole.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. So the next guy we have listed here is Mr. Rojas, and he also has second base eligibility and shortstop and outfield.
Killing it.
Well,
lately.
in ESPN at least. He's been crushing the hell out of the ball. If for whatever reason he's out there, and he's still on ESPN, he's still only rostered 40.2%, and that's a 38.6% jump. By tomorrow, it'll probably be even higher than that, thanks to the whopping 2 points you got me today, Dick.
Yeah. So Trent's having some more technical difficulties, unfortunately. So we're gonna let Trent go. But I do, Trent, if you can, before you go, man, let everybody know, what you got going on for the site and where they can find you on Twitter and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully this gets through. It's starting to lag again, but currently working on the hitting planner for this week. I've been all over it. The last few weeks correctly predicted Huascar Noah hitting another bomb, because Joe called me out on Twitter because I didn't put him in the last time I mentioned the Rays. So I made sure I
How dare
put him
you
in this time. But if you want, you can find me on Twitter at TrentD1313. Some of the best takes in all of the Twitterverse, whether it be fantasy baseball, Atlanta Braves, or food. I have a lot more.
Minus the
guacamole
guac
is never
tweet.
necessary. But I have a lot of fun on there, and I'll interact with anybody. But yeah.
Did you say guac
that's basically where you can find me all I got
scars
going on right now.
No.
Urena? What? Guac scars what?
Shut up, AJ. He's already having enough trouble as it is. Leave him alone.
He's going
All
to
right.
keep having trouble if he keeps talking down about guac. All right.
All right, Trent. We'll let you go, man. I appreciate you doing everything you could to come on tonight. It was a lot of good information, man. All the minor league stuff you brought up was fantastic. So good to have you on. And yeah, guys, definitely check out his stuff on the site. It's great. So have a good night, man.
All right. See you, Trent.
All righty. So finish thing off here. I got two pitchers. I got the first one I'm leading with is Cole Irvin of the Oakland Athletics. His last 3 starts, he's thrown a total of 19 and a third innings, 23 strikeouts. He has a 1.86 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP. His FIP and his xFIP agree pretty much, right in line that he can continue to do this, for not this level. This is crazy, but like his overall FIP and xFIP and ERA is in the mid 3s, and he can get, it sounds like he can continue to do this, if not better, honestly. Like I think I forget which one it is. I think the FIP might be better than xFIP. So one of them actually is better than the other. And the thing that really strikes me with him is that his command is crazy. He's only walking 1.29 batters per 9. So like right there, he's not letting guys get on base for free, and that's huge. Yeah. I had to take a chance on him in our league because walked into a couple pitching injuries this week and just needed some starts, and went out there and grabbed Cole Irvin, and he got me a fantastic 8 innings this week. So I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I was looking at him early this week too, and I was like, all right, I got to remember.
It wasn't the best of starts. It was
Irvin.
Toronto too. I took a huge chance on it, and like, I looked at like the team WRC pluses, and Toronto's like 12th in that, and I was like, whatever, middle of the road. It's like there's really no. But
he still notched the win. He got you a quality start. 8 innings, 9 Ks. I mean, dude, he's been in fuego. I'm looking at this. Yep, that's about right. I'm looking at this picture on Fantrax, and it looks like he's wearing a Phillies hat. So he does not pitch for the Phillies right now, and they could probably use those kind of stats. Thanks, Fantrax. Thanks for that reminder.
Real quick, by the way, just to kind of backtrack to our no-hitter talk. Somebody on Twitter, Matt Kremitzer, I don't know.
Mark Kremnitzer?
No, Matt. Put a tweet out that said, anyone know what this means? And it WAR for pitchers. John Means has a WAR of 2.3 for pitchers. The next best is Duffy and Cole at 1.7 and 1.6. Wow. That's crazy.
Shoot me that tweet. I want to look at that.
We'll do.
Yeah.
Private chat. There we go.
Wow. Okay.
That's pretty crazy, man. So John Means is apparently, according to WAR, the best pitcher in baseball. No. Come on. Where's Degrom on this list? That doesn't make any sense. This has to be wrong, right? I mean, well, because Degrom doesn't get any wins, so thanks, Mets.
Yeah. I mean, the Mets are better, but
no, they're not. Not hitting. They're better. They're fine pitching. Stroman's been good. DeGrom's always been amazing. Their hitting is atrocious this year.
Yeah, I mean, Walker's been pretty decent-ish.
Yeah. The pitching's been good, as it usually is for them. It's just not the hitting. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, all right, well, we'll wrap things up here with Mr. Jose Irina. Look, the K's suck most of the time. He has been able to get 7, 8 or so, but
mix in a couple.
Don't add him if you're looking for K's. You're adding him for the other counting stats. If you need a boost in ERA and WHIP, You got to take a look at him. He's gone 7 innings in all 4 of his starts. He's only allowed 7 total runs, no more than 2 per game. And I don't know if it will continue, but you can ride it while he's dealing. The Tigers, like we talked about earlier, they don't necessarily have any business competing, but they are. They've been a pretty surprising team to me, at least. And I actually grabbed him. He was the player that I picked up today, who I guess his game had already started, so he wasn't being added to my roster until tomorrow. But it didn't matter because I dropped another pitcher who was meaningless for today or tomorrow or my team in general. That's why you got dropped. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what the hell? Urena's not on my team right now. Oh, his game started. Okay. But then I went back and I added 2 more players that were playing today. No problem. Slid them into my lineup.
Apparently, you're just telling everybody who's watching you're really bad at fantasy baseball.
No, I just don't pay attention. I'm still recovering from the pandemic year, and yeah, I mean it was a rough one. It was a rough year of not playing fantasy baseball. Oh well, actually, yeah, we did play. Never mind.
We played, but nobody really cared.
Yeah.
So before we go, I got 2 things. I looked up pitching wins above replacement leaders on ESPN. John Means is at 2.3, Danny Duffy is at 1.7, and Garrett Cole is at 1.6. But there's a bunch of pitchers tied. One is Jacob Degrom. For some odd reason, whatever this list that this guy shared, skipped Degrom and a bunch of other guys that have 1.6. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so Degrom is up there. I figured that was the case. Also wanted to ask you, you got your second COVID shot.
I did.
How did it go, man? Because I get mine on Saturday and I'm like terrified. I'm going to be like on my deathbed like Sunday afternoon.
Heather was pissed because I felt fine the entire day of Monday. She was, she had some symptoms and, some whatever side effects, I guess you want to call them. It did hit me yesterday. Well, no, was it Tuesday? Tuesday.
You had it on
Tuesday afternoon. I got it Monday.
Saturday? Oh, you got it Monday.
No, I got it Monday. I was good the rest of the day Monday. I slept for shit Sunday night because I stayed up watching Netflix. And then Tuesday or Monday night, I was both of us were awake because our younger daughter woke up middle of the night and had to come in our room, and there was 4 of us in the bed.
Not your nonsense.
I know. I digress. I apologize, but you opened this damn floodgate.
Get to the point.
It's your problem.
Don't do this. Let's go like this.
Day of the shot, good. Day after the shot, afternoon, sucked balls.
Yeah.
Tired, arm, kind of hurt, but mostly just achy, kind of bones achy and minimal nausea. Took an 800 milligram ibuprofen. I was fine.
All right. Yeah, I get mine on Saturday. I get mine on the 8th. Jeff gets his on the 11th. Jeff asked you how's that 5G going, man? You broadcasting?
I don't.
You don't get that joke? Come on, it's all the jokes. All the. Oh, never mind.
Is it something to do with my mustache? Are you making fun of my mustache?
No, it's the COVID vaccine. Come on, you don't know this. All the people are like, the government's trying to watch us. They're trying to track us. Jesus.
I don't know.
You apparently ignore the news more so than I do.
I don't watch the news.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It was all over Twitter for a long time. Anyway,
unless Ron Burgundy is giving the news, I do not watch it. In case you haven't noticed by the sweet mustache and Yaz flute comment thrown in earlier.
Yes. Anyway,
and I should have gone with whale's vagina something or other when I was talking about Musgrove, and I wanted to, and I didn't. So you're welcome for that.
You just did. So, okay. All right.
Again,
So we're going to
you're
call it
welcome.
a night. Hope you guys will be seeing us at the Fantasy Football Expo. All three of us, by the way. Jeff is in too, so it'll be a good time. And because we're all vaccinated. Yeah, baby.
Boom.
So
And I'm drinking a Surly Brewing Abrasive Double IPA. Aggressive,
drinking
fruity,
it.
and bold.
I plan on drinking this
9.2.
next week again because I got a few more left, but it's Culture King. It's a new Imperial Hazy IPA from Flying Dog.
Flying.
It is another 10%er, so tomorrow is going to be awesome for me. So kids, get to bed on your
Kids will be in school.
kids, get on the bus yourself.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's that way.
That's it for the show.
Feel
Have a
good.
good night, everyone. See y'all next week.